Hi all, today we will discuss about Amazon Web Service AWS. So what are the basic of AWS? How many services are there? What is the use of particular services? What all are services we need to use on daily basis while we work on any company or any clients? So mostly commonly used services we will discuss today. AWS is just Amazon Web Services. So inside we have a multiple services which will be provided to develop application, deploy the applications, track the applications and anything, whatever the operations, monitor your applications and all. So they will provide a cloud. So there we will have all the features. If you want, you can take the particular service and use that. So see, this is AWS. It's a collection of various cloud computing service and applications that offer flexible, reliability, easy to use with cost-effective solution. That is called AWS. So AWS will have multiple cloud computing like types of cloud. We have mostly three right now: public, private, and hybrid. So public anyone can access. Private will restrict to either our organizations persons will access, or maybe some of the private vendors which have provided the access they can access and all. So that will be happen for the private cloud. Hybrid will have a both of combination, either public and private, depends on that. So either will have some of the credentials which is used for the public and some of the services which is used for the private only. So that is called hybrid mode. So that these all are the cloud type through that. And apart from we have a multiple services in AWS like EBS. EBS means Elastic Block Store. So which is used to create for the block where we can store our data as a persistence stores, and that will be attached in a single EC2 instance and all. So if you want, you can go through this proper videos about EBS. Elastic File System, EFS which is used for this file systems, like manage your network files that can be shared across the multiple EC2 instance. How you are, suppose you created EC2 instance, it is 2 instance is elastic cloud computing. So that will be how your block will be stored, what are the files, like if you have some of the storage of information, so how that will be stored through the EBS which will be taken care. File system, how manage, how organize this, how this will be scale up depending on that workload, how to process this data or any media file, any image file and any other big data file or big huge amount of file, how you will be stored with the structures manner. So that EFS, Elastic File System, will come in these pictures. Elastic Block Storage will have a for sequence of or organize your data. And EC2 instance means Elastic Cloud Compute, which have provide these all things like a general instance, compute instance, accelerate compute instance, memory instance and storage. So while you configure EC2 instance in AWS services, means these all are the facilities there. They'll provide a memory instance, storage, accelerate, compute instance and the general instance, so that you don't need any physical machine or anything like any operating systems and all. You have to create EC2 instance. There you have to deploy any applications. You can run any other services or run any others applications in that, or you can start your services. So the EC2 instance will provide, and inside this set we have simple storage service. So S3 will be provided. Suppose if you have large amount of data is there and you want to host through the AWS services, so each two instance you have taken for the physical machine, like so for this virtual machine in EC2 and then instance, and after that you want to deploy this application, but this application will take multiple data. Either we have a static data, dynamic data, or huge amount of data will be there. So somewhere it need to be stored, because if you have a real-time analysis, or data will be coming from this client or maybe some of the public, then how you have to store and how this data will be managed. So for that we have a S3, so that is called simple storage service that you can use. Simple storage service, this is used for the storage purpose. There we have to store the data, either static or others. So based on that we have this type of services which we used on daily basis. Block system, block storage, file system, storage service, and EC2 instance. Apart from this we have multiple any other services are there which we have a combination and categorized with the different category. Yeah, so coming for this EC pricing module. So pricing module also it is a module where defined like what type of services you will use, and either is free or demanded or maybe paid. So how much you need to pay, and depends on the scale up, depends on the load, how much, depends on the memory allocations that will be priced. So we have a EC2 pricing module also is defined in AWS, and other AWS services is defined with the different categories, like we told compute categorize, storage categorize, database categorize, and then security identify, compliance categorize, security, another is management governance. So if you are going through this categorize, then we have a compute. So compute we have EC2 instance, so that EC2 auto scaling, Amazon Container Registry, that like Dockers, Amazon Elastic Container Services, and Kubernetes. So while you created a Docker image, then how you can manage this images, how you will be deployed the containers, and how containers will be managed. So in that cases we can go for the Elastic, Amazon Elastic Kubernetes services. Like we have Amazon Fargate, Amazon Lightsail, Elastic Beanstalk is there, Lambda is there. So suppose if you are using compute, that compute mostly depends on the requirement of the company, client, and project. We need to use some of the compute service. Mostly we use EC2 instance, EC2 auto scale, container registry, and then Kubernetes service, Elastic, Amazon Elastic Kubernetes service, Fargate, and then Beanstalk, Lambda. So these all are the compute part. If you'll go for a storage, then mostly we use a storage of S3, AWS S3, AWS backup, AWS block storage. So that will be stored in the block ways, file systems, and FSX, and Glacier, Snowfall, and a storage gateway. So these all is a part of a storage, depends on the requirement, depends on your project overview or project criteria. You can use these services for the storage. If you'll go for the database will have a multiple databases there. Aurora is there, and then we have DocumentDB is there, DynamoDB is there, Elastic Cache is there, Cassandra is there, and others is RDS. This all is there. So if you want, you can use this of the database. We have a NoSQL, SQL's database is there, column-based database is there, relational database is there, so that we can use. If you have some cache related, then you can use for the Redis Shift is there. And then while we suppose if you are deploying any application in AWS, we'll have a multiple thing. First you need a machine where you have to host you have to start the development, or you have to allocate some memory, storage, and all. So that create EC2 instance. After that you need some storage, so that storage will have a S3 bucket. And then once you store it, then somewhere you have to also store the database information or transactions or details, so that you have a database. So that database will come in this picture. And then once your application is going to live, and that will be communicated from client to network, then you need a security. So why security? Security will provide to identify the customer, either his customer is valid, or we have to enable two-factor authentication, or we have some security, either token-based security or role-based access and all, like, so that uh, we have a security identifier, so that we also have multiple security in AWS, like IAM users is there, artifact is there, cognito is there, firewall manager is there, directory service is there, resource access manager, secret manager. So these all are apart from this. We have a data migration services there, web application firewall, cloud SSM, HSM, key management services, crypto tools, certificate manager, like that. Depends on the requirement you can use for the security. Once your security enabled, then we have some of the rules which will be allocated by management or governance, so that while you have created or your application is live, then there is some problem which need to be sorted out. So for that you need to operate or troubleshoot your application, so that we have a auto scale. How you will be a scale up depends on the traffic. You have to scale up your applications if multiple customer have doubt something is not working or not, so that you can based on the management criteria or governments, you need a chatbot, so you have to add the chatbot, so that interactions will come from the client, and then automatically that will be AI or maybe some artificial intelligence actual will come in these pictures, and then they have to sort out this, or maybe reply, automated reply, or maybe some of the assigned persons will be replied, and that cloud trail which will be monitor your applications, like either we have everything is fine or not. So that these all are the services we can use in AWS. This is the third thing. So inside that we have also multiple services are there coming for this relational database. We have RDS custom, RDS AWS, RDS proxy, ADS, and then management governments, already CloudWatch we seen, CU, compute optimize, config, control tower, data lifecycle, health. So metrics we have to check, health metrics we have to check, life managers, organizations, resource group is there. Then migration and transfer, that is application discovery, database migration, data sync migration, service migration services and all will be there. Networking, and then once you this all has been happen, and then we have a networking and content delivery. So how network and all will be configured in our services or applications, so that no one, or maybe only private member, or no one can hack, or no one can do anything from our data. So that we have a route S3, so that IP configurations will be configured. So we have API gateways, route S3, and CloudFront, so allow user to design and expect the REST or WebSocket API and scale up, so that it will, our network and all will be secure. So these all are this there, route S3, and then CloudFront, API gateway, app mesh. So these all are mostly be used, virtual private cloud, virtual private network, like that. And analysis, if you have added and developed the application, now you want to analyze this data changes and all those things. So we have a cloud search, data exchange, data pipeline, Elasticsearch, data pipelines, EM, and all. So like that we have multiple services which is used for this provider services. Directly you can use the services and apply this changes in your application, and then application will be work as a fastest and anything. So depends on that. We have machine learning, IoT, artificial intelligence, media services, and any others mobile applications, and applications which need to be integrated from our backend to front end, or maybe some of the other technology. So that we have a different services is there for the different services. These all are defined there. And then also these all are the use cases which is used when to use our AWS services. So what are the businesses has taken the AWS services, platform, government, security, operations, what are the benefited, how it work, product, process, technology, use cases and all. So these all are the AWS. Once you go for the AWS tutorials, there we can see all those services benefits and all. And the AWS also we have multiple advantages are there. So these all are the advantage like a trade capital expense with the various expense, benefit from massive economic scale, stop guessing about capability, increase speed and agility, stop spending money running and maintaining data center, so go global in minute. So these all are features like common features which is there in AWS services, so that we can go for these all. And then these are this basic command are there while you want to use the AWS CLI is command line interface. So once you will use the AWS CLI, these all are the Unix command which need to be run like sudo remove file name cat mount rpm ql sudo, then sudo yum remove reboot and all. And then we have this architectures framework for the AWS, and then AWS services security. So that subnet, virtual private network, network ACL route, is stable internet gateway, VPN gateways and all, how we will do. And then Amazon Web Services cheat 9, this is for this of basic AWS basics and all. So while we will go for this videos or tutorials, then we will know all the services, what are the services used and when to use, how to use, what are. So while we develop applications, so in that application we'll have a categorized with multiple things like there. Yeah, so that's it from my side. Thank you. If you like it, subscribe, please subscribe and watch the video. Thank you.